So hello everyone, welcome to my second video on my attempt to just build an app just using vibe coding without any knowledge of how to code an app or whatsoever. So initially what my plan for this series would be to just do daily videos of me just working on the app like I did with the first one. But then I thought that that would be quite impractical in a way that, for example, if I were to work for 1 hour, then I would have to spend another hour editing the video. And I don't have all of that time because I have other things to do. I have, for example, my full-time job. I have some doing my thesis meanwhile. So it's quite hard to manage all of that. So what I decided to do is I'll pretty much just maybe each 2 or 3 days I'll just make another video just update you guys on how things are going. And yeah, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do today. I will show you what I've been working on during the weekend. So yeah, so let's just get straight into it. Okay, so before going into VS Code, I just wanted to show you how I'm organizing my app and my ideas. So I'm using this app which is called Obsidian, which pretty much lets you store. It's similar to Notion in a way, but the key difference between this is that you can see all of the pages that are connected. So for example, this is my MVP description. This one you guys already know what it is. And here I can create a connection to my other pages, and so everything gets stored. To be honest, it's the only thing, the main reason why I'm using this is just because I like to see I like this visual, that's all. So yeah, so let's start by the roadmap. Initially, I was pretty much building my app from the user stories. So I had these user stories that I generated on the previous video, and I was just telling the AI, so generate me this, generate me that, and so on. But it was being hard to manage which feature I should be focusing on first. Like for example, would it make sense to first do this and then do that? Or so it was quite overwhelming because I had a lot of different features. Some of them were related, some of them weren't. And so I was getting a bit overwhelmed. And what I did was I pretty much just asked ChatGPT to build me some sort of roadmap. And pretty much I was starting from the basic all the way to more complex features uh, such as for example plant recommendations, which I think would be the hardest one. And yeah, and so pretty much during the weekend, what I was doing was I finished this first phase and pretty much registered new users. I've also configured the database. Um, Also, I've created some basic dashboard, which I'll show you guys later. And pretty much during this week, I'll be working on these phases. Um, so yeah, let's go into VS Code so I can show you the project. Um, the biggest update and the biggest change was I changed from initially I was building the UI with V0, but once I tried to pass in the UI, so the UI code to cursor wasn't very context aware of the folders in my project, and so you would often generate folders that were already existing and so on. And so I started looking for alternatives. And since I'm a college student, my university offers me a subscription for GitHub Copilot, which is pretty similar to Cursor. And yeah, and also has the agentic mode. You can also switch between models. I've been using mostly 3.7 Sonnet. As long Also I've been using O4 Mini, and yeah, so it's pretty much the same thing as Cursor, but for some reason Cursor wasn't working for me, so I just decided to use VS Code. I could show you the folder organization, but to be honest, I have no idea of what's in here. A lot of you probably will hate me for that, but I'm just trusting blindly in the AI because I have some knowledge of software development, but it's very basic stuff like HTML and CSS and a bit of JavaScript. Let's just jump into the app so you guys can see and I can explain you better what I've been doing. And also from what you were able to see, this first phase is done. This phase was way harder than what it should have been because I decided to early on implement Google sign-in, and it was very difficult to implement it because the AI was constantly hallucinating. I can then show you the chat, but let me just quickly show you the app. So this is how the UI is looking for now. It's terrible in my opinion, but this is just I'm not too concerned about UI because I think this is the easiest part. I can just probably go to like some competitors' websites or just draw a quick sketch on Canva or in Figma or whatever and just copy and paste it to the LLM, and I think you will be able to generate the UI the way that I want it to look like. So, but yeah, so here we have the two buttons. So let's log in. I will just log in with Google because it's faster. But yeah, so this is how the dashboard looks. Again, it's not great. I'm just focusing like on. I'm not really focused on a UI at the moment because that will be easy to implement. I just want like a functional UI as of now. And pretty much what I've implemented is, so you saw the authorization, the sign in and sign out. And this is like the dashboard where you um, where the user can see like his plans, his care task lists, and you can also add plans. For example, this is a random plant that I just created. Ignore this image, but pretty much what I did was I just wanted to add like so the user, if he wants, he can add images of his plant, and this was the only image that I had on my environment. Uh, so yeah, let me show you the process of adding a plant. So you come here and you, for example, let's go with YouTube plant. Then you can choose the date. Um, yeah, let's say it's on the 6th, whatever. Then you also have the plant species, and this list that you see here, it's coming from the API that I'm using for my plant database, which currently I'm using per annual. But I think this API has some limitations, and I'll probably will have to use this one. But yeah, the APIs I'll probably will be looking into that later on. I have to check on my roadmap, but I think that's more. It's probably within 1 or 2 weeks I'll need to look into the APIs with more detail. But as of now, like you can see, there's like there's like a list of potential plant species that you can choose from. Let's go with this one. Then you can also add a location. Let's go with this. You can also upload an image. So let's go with, for example, this one. You can also add notes, and then you add the plant, and you can see your YouTube plant with a Porsche logo is here. It was created. Then you have the tasks manager. This one is not functioning yet, but my idea would be to, based on the plant that you have, um, you should receive you should like the web app should send you notifications of what to do regarding the plant, if you should be watering, if you should fertilizing or pruning, and this will be done through the API. And yeah, but it's a later feature. Then the notifications, and this pretty much will be the notifications that you have. The explore page, and my idea for this page, also the API is not working, but it's like, for example, let's say um, pretty much what I want to do here is I will add some filters, and based on my location, and this will suggest me like features. This will suggest me plants based on for example, based on my location. So, for example, as I've mentioned previously, I live in the north of Portugal, so this should give me suggestions based on like the typical weather here. Um, yeah, but this is a more advanced feature. And then this is the settings page. It's not configured, so I'll not click it because otherwise my website will crash. But yeah, so that's pretty much how this is working as of now. And yeah, during this week I'll be working on these tasks here. Also, I just want to show you like how like my working flow with vibe coding. As I was saying, my biggest issue for this weekend was the sign in and sign out. And I was just like, let me see if I can show you the chats. I was having like a very annoying bug, and I was thinking that maybe the AI was not able to fix it. Where, for example, let me see if I can find. So, for example, I would log in. This means like I would log in, right? And this would tell me that the web page was compiled, etc. Then it would like redirect me to my dashboard page, which was the one that I was just telling you guys. And then for some reason it will instantly redirect me to my login page again, and this was quite annoying to solve because like I tried like I don't know, maybe 12 different prompts, and the AI was just keep on hallucinating and hallucinating and hallucinating until I decided to try out with GPT-01. I don't know if I can filter this with O1, right? This is in Portuguese, but I eventually tried to use GPT 4.0 mini. Oh no, O4 mini. Sorry, it's just a mess. Um, and eventually, the LLM, what it did was probably instead of like giving me code, it told me that probably this issue was coming from a specific thing. And so what I did was I took that prompt and I went to ChatGPT and told, please write this in a more concise manner and in a more explainable way to like to be able to fix this. And the LLM did just that, and eventually I used again that prompt that ChatGPT gave me, and I used it with like with O4 Mini, and pretty much the model was like able to fix it like the first time. So from what I'm learning with vibe coding is, and you cannot just stick to like one LLM because different LLMs will have different outputs. For example, I've been using mostly Claude 3.5 Sonnet, but Claude wasn't able to solve me this. I had to resort to GPT 4.0 to make the prompt clear, and then I also had to use O4 Mini. What I've learned is when you are having an issue and the LLM is constantly like hallucinating, maybe you should try another model because, as you know, the output of this model is stochastic, and maybe you'll get lucky with another model, maybe you won't. So in order to summarize this, overall, I think it's possible to build this web app with just like vibe coding. It will be quite annoying because I will probably have I will have more errors like this one, and probably they are very simple if I just knew how to code to solve. And yeah, overall, I think this will be possible. And I invite you guys to try vibe coding because this is really fun. And if you have like software development knowledge, you probably will be able to get a better output out of this. Because the key thing from here, the key thing that differentiates you when doing vibe coding is your prompting skills. And yeah, since I have like a high level understanding of how web apps work, I'm able to I'm able to send good prompts to this. But even so, even if you don't have like good prompting skills, you can always resort back to ChatGPT and just ask him to build probably something like a roadmap, and he will help you with all of the technical details that you need. And yeah, so moving forward this week, I will also post another video and I will try to do this phase 2 care management, and depending on how long it takes me, I will consider moving on to the third phase. And yeah, and at the moment, my biggest concern is not like that I won't be able to build this app. It's just like if I am to launch this, is regarding like security, because I don't know anything about like software security and like how to secure our app or to prevent exploits and etc. And since I don't have any knowledge on all that, it would also be hard to try to prompt the LLMs to build upon security. But I guess that's could be later on because currently I'm just using my local host, so it should be fine. So yeah, I know this was like a shorter video. It may be a bit confusing, but I'll try to maybe write a script for the next one. So thank you guys for joining in, and see you guys next time.